Episode 5, who's ready to get wet?
Not a dry seat in the house.
I'm always.
Not when Jeff's on stage. Hope you brought your umbrellas, because today we're recapping leg 1 of Goose's summer tour, unless, of course, it gets delayed an hour due to thunder, tornadoes, or whatever other forces of nature the gods throw at this band.
Yeah, I think you mean Thunder with a 7.
Yeah.
So it just delayed 2 weeks because we forgot to do a podcast. Either way, we're going to get through it. In addition to our expert analysis of this stretch of shows, we're also going to have exclusive interviews with Michael Palmisano from Guitargate, Mark Comito, a.k.a. Scarf Guy from the El Goose Times, and some of Goose's other big fans, where we get to hear their perspective on the band, these shows, their philosophies on life, the scene, and a whole lot more.
And as always, if you have a cool story or unique perspective or philosophy apparently on the band, feel free to come up and say hi to us during leg 2 to be featured on the next episode. We'll be out there to capture the moment.
And we've got a special surprise for New Haven Night 1, so be sure to dress your best. The stars will be out and shining.
Elegance.
Elegante.
That's right. We look forward to meeting all of you on leg 2 of summer tour, as well as Fall Tour, baby, announced on the same day we release episode 4, which I guarantee we will never do again.
Yeah, big mistake.
These guys owe us vinyls, they owe us prints, they owe us everything, but hey, we'll buy some Fall Tour tickets for sure. The podcast ratings did not do well last Tuesday afternoon,
Not
but if
well.
it's some consolation, at least we get Indoor Goose to look forward to if you were able to figure out the band's pre-sale riddle.
Yeah, I mean, it's not any consolation. I'm definitely still a little unhappy with the band. I mean, who do they think they are? Literally distracting our listeners, I would have said cucking us, with these show dates on the day that we're trying to release our podcast. Like, we need all the help we can get. You know, we're doing this for the band. I mean, as usual, they step on my dreams. But like Joey said, we'll stick out. We'll still be out there sticking mics in your faces for Fall Tour, asking you about your favorite Trevor outfits. So be on the lookout.
And to help us walk through these new dates, we tried to schedule Ethan Berlin, Goose's agent, but it seems like he has better things to do.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Never would have guessed.
I guess these guys have to do a spring tour next year or something.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I guess we can just run through the dates real quickly. So September 3rd, the 48 Festival, skipping Bonnaroo, which came before that. 48. We'll do that again on take 2.
No.
No, it's fine.
Because they haven't
see the struggle.
Yeah, they haven't told us specifically if it's 48 or 48. So
we're just going with our best guess.
Maybe it's 4,848.
That's
festival.
a very big possibility.
I'm gonna call it the 24 Festival because we can just add the numbers up together.
And then immediately after that, actually not immediately, a month after that, Terminal 5 in New York, our home base, just steps away from my apartment. I'm excited for that. You guys been to Terminal 5? Obviously, it's
We have. You're the only one who's excited for it. Yeah, I mean, I'll still be there sweating my ass off in the middle of 1,000+ people, so yeah.
The views expressed on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of the band. That said, we've all been pretty close to getting kicked out. One of my favorite things at Terminal 5 to do back in the day was figure out which balcony to stand on, whether I wanted to hear like vocals, bass, drums, or keys. You get a little bit of everything.
Hone in on one of the pieces of the band at a time.
I imagine if I suspended myself from the ceiling, I'd be able to hear the full mix. But
that's the best spot.
To be fair to Terminal 5, they've done a whole bunch of renovations this year.
okay.
I don't know exactly what it looks like, but as we approach these shows, it should be something fresh and new in there, so that should be cool.
Yeah, I have heard good things about the improved audio in there, so we'll see what it's like.
All right, awesome.
Heard good things, no pun intended.
Oh, man.
And then about 3 weeks later, they're heading up to Portland, Maine, and Worcester, Massachusetts for their Halloween run, 4 nights. Really excited for that. I initially just bought the Massachusetts tickets, but figured why not head up to Portland? It's a beautiful city. I plan on taking time off and just exploring.
Yeah, and
We're calling it Worcester now?
forgive Joey's pronunciation
Yeah.
of
sorry.
Worcester. He's from Long Island. Everybody in Massachusetts is flipping right now. That's Worcester, or whatever the hell they say.
Yeah,
I can't even
Worcester.
say
Yeah,
it.
the Polar Seltzer factory. Polar Seltzer factory's on fire. But no, I'm looking forward to getting back to Worcester. I mean, I haven't really spent a lot of time there except for blacking out at Biscuit shows in the early 2000s, and then
Good times.
I think some fall fish.
Yeah, Fall Fish actually crushed there. God, when was that? 2013 or 2014. It was awesome. But yeah, like that's gonna be great to get back up there. And like Joey said, it's beautiful country. It's an easy ride, at least in the Northeast, from up to Portland and back down to Massachusetts there. So that's gonna be a real whole mess of fun that Halloween run.
Get off the highways because Bruce is driving home after the show.
95, baby. Grip it and rip it.
Something while we're on the topic of Halloween, have you guys wanted any covers, any particular soundtracks you've wanted to hear?
I don't want to play that game with them because I always end up disappointed.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
I will call out, Kel has been mentioning, one of our big fans, Kel Kawas, has been mentioning the Sandlot soundtrack, which actually would fits, kind of right in their wheelhouse. And so that would be awesome to hear, but
Nice
I'm
green
sure
onions.
they'll come up with something good.
All right, nice. And then they got a couple days off, then heading back down to the south, Atlanta, Georgia, the eastern. There's a lot of new venues in this stretch of southern runs that I'm really excited to see. Anything you guys are looking for in particular? You going to some of these shows in the south?
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling myself I'm not going to go to as many as I'm definitely going to go to. But the Atlanta show for sure, I mean, this is a brand new venue that is supposed to be incredible. I don't think they've actually opened yet.
No.
And it's Goose's first headlining play in Atlanta, which is super cool.
That's really cool, yeah.
Basically, I'm running through this as I'm going to try and justify all this travel to my fiance. It's the first time at this new venue.
The shows are sold out, but I can still get in.
I can get tickets,
please,
man.
let me go.
Why don't you come?
The usual.
The usual thing. Yeah, you guys know how it goes. New Orleans, I don't think I'll be able to make it to New Orleans, but first Goose play in New Orleans.
At the Republic,
yeah.
too. Classic
Yeah.
venue. I mean, there's a lot of classic venues in New Orleans, but man, that's going to be a cool show. I don't think I'll be able to make it, too, but God bless the people who will. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe that sparks the jazz side of the band, some Wes Montgomery, some John Scofield maybe, but then they head into Houston at the House of Blues where a whole other venue is going to be, a whole other vibe's going to be coming in, so really excited for that one. The House of Blues looks sick. There. Oh.
Yeah, forget Goose. I'm ready for the Great Beyond to take Texas.
Oh man. Well, I might not be able to hit up that Houston show because I actually have to work a real job. But Austin and Dallas, I will definitely be at. I got some great friends in Austin. I've been there before. It's an awesome music city. I think, on par with New Orleans. It's a different vibe. Great food out there. A lot of great people in Austin. So those shows at the Scoot Inn are going to be really, really cool. Plus, it's a small place. It's only about 1,000 people, a little over 1,000 people. And in that Dallas show, that Hi-Fi at Dallas is another new venue,
Yeah,
I believe.
it's a Mark Cuban venue.
Yeah, Live Nation and Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
Look at that.
hopefully we can double up and get a Shark Tank meeting with him so I can pitch, Sea Lion, the Seal Experience.
I'm gonna pitch super absorbent sweatpants to him and sweat clothing and see if he hasn't thought about that yet.
And once again, I'll be the only one working for the podcast. And trying to get him on
Absolutely.
board
Right,
for that.
right,
sure, for
exactly.
sure,
As
for
you,
sure.
that's par for the course.
Yes, I can't wait for Joey to drag us through the state of Texas. So what do we got? Kansas City, Oklahoma after that?
Oklahoma City, and the Oklahoma City venue, I've been looking at pictures, the Tower Theater. It looks really cool and interesting. It looks like a Stanley Kubrick movie. It's these like red, orange walls with like these white columns. I don't know if they renovated it, but
Maybe they'll do an Eyes Wide Shut theme show.
if only.
What's the safe word? So I'm hoping we can get to those, but if not, I have to save my passionate pleas to my significant other for Denver.
Yeah,
Mission
to
Ballroom,
wrap it up,
baby.
right?
Why? Come on.
That's so cool. Yeah.
4,000 people in Mission Ballroom.
Wow, I didn't know it was that big, but that's also a relatively new theater. Obviously, it's been around, but somewhere people are really psyched to see the band. I am on the fence. I know by the time this tour's wrapping up, I'm going to be like, screw it, I'm taking off work. But
Can we talk about what the difference is between a ballroom and a theater?
There's a giant ball in the middle of a ballroom, a disco ball.
Okay.
Is that really it? Because then
Really?
that helps me.
Okay, yeah.
No,
Well, what's in
that's
the
not
middle?
I was like, God, Joey's right again.
Yeah, man, he knows everything. There's a huge "the" in the middle of a theater too, hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
But there is a disco ball at this place, so maybe
for sure.
a nice hot tea reflecting the lights off that disco ball.
Yes,
bringing
and
me
I
back to
will,
Williamsburg.
I will be
maybe.
swirling around my finest ball gown. There.
Yes, of course. Yeah. The belle of the ball, Bruce Robinson. Well, Getty, if you're listening, you got to get those lights shining on that disco ball. So,
Yeah, I can't wait to see some of that, man. Wow.
All right, so that's pretty much it for Fall Tour, unless, of course, they announce a Winter Tour or any other special events before this episode comes out.
Or right on the day. Or right on the day. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm sure I'll owe them money by the time this comes out.
But, Greg, we have a little more news, I hear?
Oh, yeah, that is right. Sports fans, thank you to all of you who are participating in Fantasy Goose. We've talked about this episode after episode, but we finally have a WWE-style belt. For those of you who are over the age of Joey, a WWF-style belt, specifically designed by last season's winner, Diesel Johnny, on Twitter. Oh, cool. To check out what it might look like, head over to our socials and trash talk as much as possible in the comments. We've got a whole bunch of new players coming in hot. I think Steven Denner is in the lead right now. The old guard is holding strong. Angela and Eric Lindsay.
If I didn't miss 2 shows, I'd be up there.
Yeah, if Bruce didn't
missed
miss
one.
2 shows, yeah.
I'm in there in 2 separate names also. There's Joseph and Joey. So,
got it.
playing
Good
it
to
from
know.
both ends.
You're not cheating, you're not trying.
James Bond. So I think we are this continues to grow. A whole bunch of new golden geese each show. And so join in. We're more than happy to have you. And actually, we're going to be kind of overhauling the system right now so that you guys don't have to rely on me and Russo posting weird Google forms. We're working on making it a one-stop shop.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, looking forward to that. And definitely thanks for everybody for participating in that. That's really gotten to be a lot of fun amongst the fans now that we've got hundreds of people joining into Fantasy Goose. But that's your news update from 2 weeks ago by the time we get this episode on Spotify, I'm sure.
Sure.
So
Biden just won the election.
but we'll be right back with a recap of leg 1. First, Joey was able to grab an exclusive interview with Michael Palmisano of Guitargate live from the Frederick pod.
Yeah, Michael was nice enough to stop on my pod before the Frederick Night 2 show. I've been a big fan of his Guitar Teacher Reacts videos for a while now, as you'll hear, mainly because I think he's just an excellent teacher and has introduced me to so much new music that I never would have listened to otherwise. He recently reacted to a song by friends of the podcast Neighbor, so be sure to check that on YouTube.
Big shout out to Neighbor.
Yeah, Neighbor.
Yeah, I'm glad it got on there too. I know a couple of their fans are really pushing hard for that, and that was a great song that they chose too.
Yeah, definitely. And so be sure to check that out as well as the rest of his videos.
Yeah, and if you're a guitar player at any level and would like to grow your knowledge, feel free to head over to his site, guitargate.com, and check it out. After just a couple weeks of lessons, I sound just like Rick.
Everyone out in Birdlands, got a special guest here, night 2 in Frederick, Michael Palmisano of Guitargate. Dude, I've been watching your videos since, probably fall 2019. Is that a fair estimate of when it started?
That sounds about right. Was the first video one of the React videos?
Yeah, that was it.
That's when it started. The React started in fall 2019, even though I'd been on YouTube for many, many years, but the React series is what finally worked after a lot of time.
Yeah, so can you give, for maybe some people who haven't heard or seen your videos, a little background as to how you got started teaching guitar online, and then got into the jam scene and started making those reaction videos?
Yeah, I'll make a very long story short. As everybody says, I've been playing guitar forever, played in bands, but basically in my professional career, I taught private students, coached kids' rock bands, and played in a wedding corporate cover band in Baltimore, doing 110, 120 shows a year for about 7 years or so. Okay. When my wife and I started having kids, I started noticing people starting to make a living teaching online, and I decided, after a lot of soul searching and hard decisions, that as much as I thought I was a good guitar player, and I'm proud of the work I put in as far as gigging, that I was a better teacher, and it made me feel better about myself helping other people too. And I decided to go all in on the internet and all in on online education in 2013. So I say all that to say, I did started Guitar Gate in 13 and was steady rolling until about 19. And in 2019, I got completely burnt out. But I mean, it was fine. It was great. Believe me, I was supporting the family, teaching and all that. It was great. But I was completely burnt out and put my guitar down for months.
Yeah.
And then I had some friends of mine take me to a Dead & Company show in that summer after I hadn't played guitar in months.
So summer 2019?
Summer 19.
Do you remember what the opener was?
Yeah, it was Shakedown Street.
Of course it was.
Yeah, at Nissan Pavilion, the old Nissan Pavilion, Jiffy Lube Live.
Okay, all right.
And obviously I had known about the jam scene, and obviously I had known about that band in particular, but the reason I really wanted to go was because I was absolutely fascinated with the fact that, like, here's this guy, Mayer I'm talking about, who is not just taking off 30 days a year as his own headliner tour, but he's also putting his entire band and his entire staff, giving them off, right, to be a hired gun in a cover band for songs that were written decades ago, and he's taking a huge haircut, and I was like, what is going on? There's something to this.
And not only that haircut, the potential criticism that he could receive from this die-hard audience, and someone like John Mayer in the pop scene coming in, and at first when I heard about it, I was like, really? Like Mayer? And I saw it once, I was like, oh, yeah, of course.
I get it. And that's the thing. So I went there, and a couple things happened. One, I realized the obvious answer is it's all about the music, and he looked happier than I've ever seen him play, because I'd seen him in his solo stuff. And two, my wife was with me, today, and said, just look around you. Have you ever seen so many happy people in one place before?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't think I have seen tens of thousands of cheerful people. And I was hooked. And so I went home and I was like, I'm going to start learning this music, trying to figure out what the magic is. But I'm going to put the camera on and I'm going to document it. And I'm going to treat it just like as when I had a student, someone would bring a lesson in a room and say, I want to learn this. Pull it up on YouTube. They're there for half an hour. You try to figure out what makes it what it is, the broad strokes, what to look out for when you're learning it, and send them on their way. And I didn't know what the fuck to call it. And so, because it's certainly not a lesson, because I'm like learning it on the spot, and I'm wrong a lot. And so this React thing was like a thing on YouTube, and I was like, look, I know it's shticky, but like, I'm just gonna call it Guitar Teacher Reacts, and sure enough, this shit fucking popped.
Yeah, dude.
And that's the story.
That's crazy. I mean, the great thing...
And now I've never been more reinvigorated to play in my life.
Play guitar, yeah. And do you think the music of the scene helped out? Like, if you were doing reaction videos over other stuff, it wouldn't have popped as much?
No, because to be completely and totally frank with you, the jam scene videos are not the most popular ones.
Is that right? What would you say are?
Oh, the number one video is Polyphia by far. Really?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Here's the thing, and this is a really good takeaway for your audience or anybody out there that is into social media in general. What you really care about, what really is important, and this is true in life, not just on the internet, is actual passionate engagement and real relationships with people. Yeah. The top line numbers of like this video got millions of views, those videos, great, they get millions of views, but I don't have the relationship with those fans as I do from dead videos that got 50,000 views. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because those people give a shit. Like all these people out here, you guys all travel together. You know each other. You feel like the connection you have with the music means that you know a little something more about each other. And that is not in every genre of music. It's just not true. No. And so it doesn't even matter to me that when I do jam videos, those aren't the big videos, because the engagement and the messages I get and the encouragement and the positivity within the community, it makes me over the moon, and at the end of the day, it makes me pick up the guitar again and just try to get a little better. And that was the whole thing. I put it down, and it is what made me pick it back up again.
That's great. And that really sums up the energy.
And that's
but,
it.
I mean, the music, yeah, we always say the music is the most important thing, but you come for the family. You come to meet new friends. And I feel like this pod setup is really conducive to that, because most of the time you're crowded with other people, and you don't have this much time before the show to talk. Sometimes you do, but to walk through the pods, you kind of have a little bit more space. You have your lawn chairs out. Like, people just get to sit down, hang out a little bit more before the show, and I think it's a big boost. I think it's not going to go away.
No, because at the end of the day, behind every view, behind every click, behind every email, behind every shirt, behind every car, whatever you want to radio, there's people.
Yeah.
Right? There's real people that really matter and really care about each other. And just look at where we are today. We're at Goose. I wouldn't even know who Goose is if it wasn't for people who saw my dad videos or fish videos or Humphrey's videos or whatever, and were like, you got to check out the new guys. Like, you got to see what's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of like Marcus King, Billy Strings, Goose, obviously, Spafford.
Yeah, and those, and so for me to, perfect example, I do a Goose video, right?
Yeah.
And it gets, I don't know, 25, 30,000 views, which is tremendous, right?
Yeah.
But it's nothing like a Marcus King video, and it doesn't even matter, because the point is, the band's reaching out. I'm talking to you.
Oh, we love it.
We're walking around the park, and it's just like everybody's so happy to have this little, whatever, any light shined on like the great thing that's happening in this community.
Yeah, it's like your little family. It's like
I'm blessed to have found it so late in life, because believe me, I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, but I came from a metal rock and roll like background, and there's no sense of community like that. It's not even the thing. This is a special thing, and I'm grateful to be a part of it, man.
We're grateful to have you as a part of it, man.
I appreciate it.
I've been watching your videos for so long, and I'm a drummer. I don't understand chord structure. I don't understand music theory all that much, but somehow in your videos, I may not understand the words you're saying, but it helps me develop this language a little bit more of like, I know what you're talking about, and when I talk to my friends, I'm not spitting nonsense. I have these words to, put to it. So when you started doing these reaction videos, were they initially like, I want guitarists to be able to play these songs, or music fans in general to just listen to somebody talk about this and get maybe an education?
So it started about guitar, because that's what I know and that's what I viewed it. What I found is that when I do songwriter stuff like Tyler Childers, like the Coulter Wall, then I find myself talking about like the actual lyrics and the and the words behind them and the people that they're meant to represent. When I do drum stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I also play drums, and I believe everybody should play drums.
That explains why you give such a great shout out to the rhythm section. A lot of which it doesn't get noticed, even though they're not soloing like crazy. It's such a support system to elevate the band. I feel like
it's because I've gigged a tremendous amount, and we all know you're only as good as your drummer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just used this euphemism the other day. Are you running out of time?
No, plenty of time.
So I just use this.
I could always add more time.
That like a really great rhythm section is like a super clean, pristine house. You don't notice it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You notice a really dirty house, like someone's like let themselves go, and it's just like a mess, right? When you walk into a place, you're like, wow, this band just isn't good. It's the rhythm section.
Yeah.
When you're just focused intently on the vocals and the guitar, and you're just like in the zone, that's because the rhythm section built the foundation to allow you to do that.
Exactly, yeah, and it doesn't get enough shout out from music fans.
And I've always viewed myself as a part of the rhythm section as a guitar player.
Yeah?
And then like when it's my turn to say something lead, then it's my turn, but serve the song, serve the groove, always.
Absolutely, and collectively too, which I feel like this band does so well. Not only like...
That's one of the main reasons I like this band so much.
Yeah, the tension and release is the greatest that I've ever seen. Not only just tension and release individually, but as a group, they're always together right on it the entire time.
Yes, a sound check was great. I was standing here back on this rail, just taking it in, and my wife and I are just like, this is just, man, it just really sounds good. Like, they're not rushing anything. They're like calm and relaxed.
Yes.
They're letting things take their own time. And that is something that took me, I'm still learning to appreciate it, because it's hard. I still come from this world of like, put it this way. There aren't many bands that when they come through town, I must see them no matter what. One of those bands is Tool.
Yeah.
Now, Tool brings this one specific product to each particular town, and it's recreated.
Yeah.
Right?
As with almost every band.
Almost every band. I grew up in that world, understanding that perfection, polishing this perfect thing, and recreating it night after night is the goal. The thing I love about this scene and this band, which they do so well, is it's so clear that intent is not the case. The intent is to go to a different town, do something different in each town.
Exactly.
And let it take its course. Let it become this new thing. And that's why people, count their shows and document them by the date, because that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
And that's why it took me so long to get it.
Until you buy into that concept, you go, I've only been to 2 shows. I have to get into double digits, then I have to get into triple digits. I have to get all the prints, and then...
Because my whole professional life, and even when I was a student, like this kind of music really isn't something that is focused on when you go to music school.
Oh, yeah?
It's just, at least not the one I went to. And
is it almost laughed at? Would you say, like, oh, jam bands, they're so this or that? Are they, like, brushed off?
So here's what I mean. When you go to school, the idea of that school, and it's not just for music, is can you take this knowledge and this education, whatever, and does it lead to a professional career?
Exactly.
And so when you go to school, you're not learning how to build 16, 17-minute jams with various peaks that take people on a journey. No, you're trying to get down to the nitty-gritty of how much can we take out to get to the core essence of this particular hook, tie that hook together with a 15-second bridge. You know what I mean?
And get it on the radio or on a Spotify playlist, and mass amounts of people.
2 minutes and 30 seconds. Hit it quick.
Yeah.
Right? And every band I've been in, again, this is me, this is not right or wrong, but has been a working cover band that were they're like high-dollar events, and all of those songs, there's no improvisational section. There's no I mean, you don't even leave 3 to 4 seconds in between each song.
Yeah.
And so the whole like missing something or missing a part or
missing a change or anything is like
fired.
It's catastrophic.
You get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you get fired.
I don't know if you've seen the documentary Bittersweet Motel on Fish, but they're interviewing Trey. This is in like '98. He's in a hotel, and someone asked him like, "Oh, like, so what'd you think of the show last night?" I thought it was fire. I thought it was amazing. Like, it was perfect. Everything you could ask for. And the guy goes, "Well, somebody said it wasn't." And they go, "Who? Brad? Brad Sands, their like tour manager."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why? Because we missed the change." He goes, "I don't care if we miss every change. As long as the crowd was hot, we were on fire, it doesn't matter to me." So I think that's exactly what you're saying, especially that's different about jam bands, is the fact that they can play something and miss they could fuck up the lyrics every single line as long as the music was there and the energy was there.
It's about the intent that, we're expecting to hear something tonight that we didn't hear yesterday.
Absolutely.
And we're expecting to feel something different that we didn't feel the last time this band came through town. And that's why people follow them.
Yeah.
It's literally a different mindset of the audience, and that, frankly, took me 36 years to understand.
And some people never understand. So the fact that you get it, and the most important thing about this scene is you don't find the music. I feel like the music finds you at a place when you need it.
Dude, and everybody, like I have that story, and I know people give me guff about it being Dead and Co. and whatever. But
I had the same thing.
The point is it did find me. And
Yeah.
I have found that everyone that I share that with or whatever says the same thing. Like they remember the day.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least the time period. Like, what's yours?
Mine was Dead & Company 2017 at Citi Field. They opened with Dancing in the Streets.
Amazing themes.
Oh, it was incredible. And I remember it wasn't like my life changed at the show. It was the weeks after that whole summer where I was just nonstop playing The Dead in my car. And I remember it specifically. I was just out of college studying for the CPA, and every day going to class was just Grateful Dead playing. And then that eventually led to Fish, led to a couple festivals. And then once you go to your first festival, it was like, oh, there's all these different bands across all these different genres that I can fall in love with. And Goose was the one for me, man. Like the chemistry,
so tight, man.
the chemistry of influences that made me, they exactly matched that for me.
I agree. I'm super excited to see them for the first time.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely stoked.
I'm so happy this is your first show and you got to come, man.
I'm so stoked.
You broke down Arcadia, you broke down Drive. In between, have you gotten into Goose a little bit more since the Arcadia song, or are you still coming in pretty fresh?
I'm hoping to hear. I really want to hear one of their harder, more extended, like groovier, like more extended jams. What was the one I was? God damn it! I'm gonna have to look it up right now.
Dude, go ahead. We can always edit. It's not like it's live. Let me make
Dude,
sure.
I was just listed on the way here. Jive Lee.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to hear one of those, dude.
Got the hat on.
Oh, see,
It's my favorite song.
That's
100%. It's my favorite song. So
that's what I want to hear.
They played that down in Suwannee, I guess with last night's 2 shows ago, but they could always play at Jive 1, so Jive 1, Jive 2, Jive Lee.
Yeah.
So they played Jive 2, so if they do Jive 1 tonight, there's always a Jive Lee that could come. I hope you get it, man, but I mean, there's so many songs where they could just get up and
like
rip
this
it.
conversation is what I love about the scene too. I love it's like, well, you could get it tonight. I hope you get it.
Oh, yeah.
But then at the same time, I mean, it's been X amount of shows.
Yeah.
It's just like that doesn't happen in other scenes, man.
I know. Yeah, every single person here knows exactly when the last time they played that song. So they played Spirit of the Dark Horse last night, which is a recently released single, and everyone was freaking out because they haven't played it since March 2019. So, I mean, I hope you get everything you want. I hope you have an amazing time at your first show, man. Hopefully I'll see you around dancing your ass off.
Dude, I will be here, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, once again, I want to thank Michael for coming over and talking. It was really cool of him to take the time to do so. He was also nice enough to come over to the pod during set break of the show, but sadly, the audio was not captured due to Rob's lack of being there to make sure I hit the record button, Rob.
Jesus, man.
But to quickly recap, we had a ton of fun during set 1. Was really impressed by the band. He mainly was impressed with the crew. He could not get over the video, the audio quality. So shout out to Sam Getty, coach directing that night, and Danny McDonald for getting some amazing shots of the band in the crowd. And every night he's been behind the camera. I mean, this tour was amazing.
I cannot tell bands coming up, get a publicist. They can put the stuff together for you and make it happen.
Sound and audio quality is one thing.
Yeah.
Video quality is another, but having a great publicist is maybe the most important.
If a band plays a show in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, did they really play a show?
And it's not on Live for Live music.
No, yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought that was a mushroom tablet-induced dream I had, but anyway. Michael also posted a video breaking down Rick and Peter's rig a little bit. It's up on YouTube, so be sure to check that out as well. And we'll be right back with our main event, the Leg 1 recap and analysis, where we'll get to hear from some of you live on tour.
Somehow it's our main event. You get to hear us talk more about this stuff.
It's always an event, that's for sure.
That's it.
All right, so how many times have you guys seen Goose?
This will be my third.
Third?
This will be my second.
Second. All right, where else did you guys see them?
I went to River Street Jazz Cafe and I went to Goose Miss 2019.
Oh, it's a great show. You too?
I was also at Goose Fest 2019.
Dude, that's nice. All right, so what are the expectations coming off Suwannee, coming off Goose Miss 2020? What are you guys thinking about this show today?
I'm thinking they started off strong. I'm not really sure what to expect. They started with a lot of hits, so I'm expecting some obscure, rare ones tonight. I'm not sure. But we'll see.
Yeah, that was the thing about Suwannee is like they got to appeal to a festival crowd, so to play a lot of like popular stuff and to come back to a fully Goose crowd, I hope they play a lot of deep cuts. Any hopes, any songs that you want to hear tonight that you haven't heard?
I want an Empress, but they played it the last time.
I know, but dude, I want an Empress every show. Honestly, they could play it every single show, and I could know that it's being played every show.
Played Seekers in the sound check, so I don't expect
God
that.
damn it! I almost put that on my fantasy Goose, and I know they're gonna play it now. All right, well, dude, I'm hyped for that. Don't tell me anything else about the sound check. I don't want to know.
They played that's just the way it is. They played Bob Don. That's about it.
Seekers, Bob Don, and that's just the way it is, I think, right? It was only 3 of them.
Dude, I got One the Way It Is down in, or up rather, in Yarmouth. Dude, that was sick. And I did not see it coming at all. A 3-song encore. All right, so last question. What do you guys love most about this band? Why are you here? Why did you drive down to Maryland for the show?
It's the originality. We were just talking about it, how they don't really play off any bands. They don't rip off any bands. They do everything their own way and their own style, and that's what I love about them.
Definitely. Over here?
Pretty much what Dylan said. They changed the way I listen to music, man. Like, I can't get over how fact original they are, and I'm so excited for the show.
Yeah, dude, me too. All right, well, guys, the rain's coming down now. I might have to hop in the car real quick, but thanks for doing this so much, guys. Have a good show.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right, later, guys. Up first, Frederick, Night 1, The Party in the Puddles. That was 2 of Goose's front row rail riders, Chris and Dylan from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Before the show, right as the rain started to come down, note their complete disregard for my request to not reveal what was played at soundcheck and just telling me anyway. But Frederick, Night 1, you guys weren't there to feel the rain, to feel the energy. What do you think watching at home?
I was a little nervous. I didn't go because there wasn't a lifeguard on duty.
Well, Greg, did you know I was a lifeguard at one point?
Were you really?
I was. There's a reason why I moved on.
Mouth to mouth only.
I was actually at a really corny dinner party with my friends, and we were playing rummy, and it was tight, but we were definitely waiting for that stream to come on and communicating with people who were there, and like, it was like, okay, it's got to be ready now, right? It's got to be coming on now. And then it's like, oh, tornado warning. Oh, not going to happen yet. And it's like, yo, are they going to be able to actually play this? And
whoops,
it was
tornado warning. So happy I'm at this dinner party.
Oops.
I think
this wine is great.
like, one of the uniting threads that I saw in the Fantasy Goose submissions was that everyone expected no rain. No rain.
We could hear a little bit about that. Let me play a little audio from me and the pod mates at what we thought the opener was going to be. No Rain has to be the opener tonight. I mean, if it's not, you guys are listening to this now, you might think we're fucking idiots. They opened with fucking, I don't know.
Hot tea and
Butter rum. Yeah, they opened with butter rum. We're in like a pretty good pod where we're pretty dry. We got an uphill slope, no water sitting in front of us, but the pods in front of us are legit oceans right now.
Beachfront property. They're paying extra for this.
Yeah, we got right on the beach. We're sitting back. We're watching the waves crash through.
And I mean, it's ideal because they're not getting out until later. Some of those cars can get towed out. But he said we're pretty good once everyone else leaves behind us.
So you know Kieran's had a couple beers because you could hear that widespread panic accent starting to come out. I don't know if you folks heard that out at home.
Some motherfucking twang.
Yeah, some motherfucking twang in his voice there. All right. It sounds like the Zappa has gone down. The lights have come up. The Goose chants have started. We'll check in with you a little later. I mean, note the confidence that we felt.
No reason
no
not
rain
to
was
be.
coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's just like, wasn't it May 4th? People were like, they're going to do a Star Wars set.
But yeah, that was the next night, and I was expecting it fully.
Per usual, no one gets what they want.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
But that was a hell of a night, man. And then when they actually came out and played a set, it was unfortunate they were really tight on time, but what a cool little set it ended up being with like a heater of an arrow to start off into Bob Don. They got soaking wet during Bob Don. It was really hilarious to see them scramble for towels and shit.
I mean, the thing is, like, it was the start of this tour, and they all got brand new gear. everyone had like thousands of dollars of new stuff that was just getting water
You could
poured
see
into
the
it.
look of disdain on Rick and Peter's
Yeah,
faces on the
exactly.
stream. I was like,
Exactly,
yo,
yeah.
nice, this set's sick.
That's a look of joy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, if you didn't see any visuals from the front row, we're going to post some videos to our socials of things I took. You know, it was literally a lake around the set, and then there's just this wire coming off stage where, at a moment's notice, we easily just all could have gone up and
Trevor drops a bass bomb, and all of a sudden 40 individuals are electrocuted. Like,
just a fresh fry.
No big deal. It'll be our personal Altamont. Night 2. let's fast forward. Night 2
was epic, by the way.
Let's talk about the El Goose Times.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We got to catch up with Mark Comito of the El Goose Times. Thankfully, he got me my copy night 1 right as the rain started to come down, so it didn't get too wet. But let's listen into what he has to say.
So the El Goose Times is an old school fan rag in like the likes of Dupree's Diamond Deadhead News or whatever.
Doniak Schweiss?
Yeah, Doniak Schweiss, which I think was actually produced by the band.
That was.
So a little different. So this is completely by the fans, for the fans, and we're just trying to highlight community and all the good stuff about the music. And in our first issue, this is an episode. We have issues.
Yeah.
Right? And those kind of
in tandem, yeah, they're coming out together.
Double entendre probably intended. But what we wanted to do was highlight the team in the first issue, which is why Getty Sound and Light was the cover story. So it's kind of cool that we got to talk to him now too.
Absolutely.
Flip the spotlight on the guy who lights it up for all of us.
Man,
I hope they get the credit they deserve because this team is like A+.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the best things about the band, and jam bands in general, really, not that I'm pigeonholing them as a jam band, don't want to get in trouble for that. All right, as long as I have your approval.
There's no conversation there.
But there's always, like, the fans know the entire crew. They know the entire family. They know the girlfriends, the wives, the kids. So, like, the fact that they give them shout-outs in the liner notes of, like, this is our lighting director, this is our sound guy, camera operators, and everyone knows their names, it's the best. And that's why I love the band.
First film they did, I noticed that. I'm like, the camera work is so creative.
Yeah.
And the credits are so creative because there's so much love.
Yeah.
So much credit.
Can I drop some knowledge right here?
Go ahead, please.
On the camera topic. So we only had a short space to run the Getty interview.
Okay, yeah.
But we can look forward to all new equipment this summer. So like what we think is already perfect is evidently going to get better.
Oh yeah.
Videography.
Is it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, like all new cameras, equipment, the whole setup.
Big shout out to Mark for all of his hard work. Shout out to our editor-in-chief, John Caruso, for putting it all together. You know, the Goose community is just, it's growing. The fan base keeps doing these new and incredible things. Luckily, we started a podcast because we all don't go to therapy. This has nothing to do with Goose. But Joey had a chance to talk to the Gettys, right?
Yeah, well, one of the Gettys.
One of the Gettys.
Yeah, in issue 1, if you didn't get it, there was an interview with Andrew Getty, and he just happened to be walking by as I was talking to Mark, so I have some great questions I asked him, so let's listen to that.
Andrew Getty, what do you have to say?
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Dude, you did great last night. The lights were fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, I couldn't even see. They had the tarp down in front of the house. So.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so I was like ducking down, like trying to sit up or stand on the chair.
Yeah.
To, like see above, but like at one point I, ran up to the stage and like covered all the lights because that storm came in, like set, But
during that bob don,
we made it work.
During that bob don, the lights coming down like in front, or the rain coming down in front of the lights, they looked sick.
Yeah,
especially with Danny doing like the steady cams getting the crowd, like you could see it out there, dude. It looked great.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be good tonight though.
So there's been a hotly contested name out there. Mama Goose, Mother Goose. We've known a few over the years.
Well, and one in particular who will be very angry if I don't mention her name.
Very angry, yeah. And so let's not mention her name.
Oh God, I think I actually did. We'll cut that out.
Yeah, we'll cut that out. But Joey was able to meet up with the new Mama Goose, Ali Malamud. Just one of those people responsible for bringing so many people together around the band during a time where we've all been isolated. So Joey, what did you think about the interview?
I mean, it was great. It was nice to meet up with her entire crew. Again, she was hanging out with Mark in the same pods, and just everyone around her just kept chiming in and being like, well, we all met because of her. She really introduced Goose to all of us. And here, I'll just play the audio. Let's listen in.
Mama Goose here. She brought a whole crew of us together.
Oh, yeah?
All through the pandemic, most of us are just meeting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to tell that story? Do you want to explain the term Mama Goose?
I don't know how to. It kind of my spirit animal.
Yeah.
There's a group of us that came together. We all knew each other, and then like we came together over the pandemic. And we were doing like a lot of streaming together, so like Goose delivered for everybody throughout the tour, so it gave us something to look forward to. So we would watch like Goosemas together, like through House Party.
Oh, okay, nice.
And we would dance together. We'd put lights on. We'd like, act like we're at a show.
Yeah.
I started listening in like 2019, early 2019, and then I was like trying to push it on people.
Yeah.
Like,
Goose Pied Piper.
I was like, I'm really into it. This is a big Fish group. Fish, like. And so
I got my donut mask.
Have you heard of the Fish?
We call them that PH band from Vermont because if you mention the band's name, the comments will be ridiculous.
It's dirty, right?
Oh, it's terrible. We tried to shut that down in episode 1. Didn't work.
All right, so let's take a step back. Let's look at night 1 and night 2 of Frederick as a whole. Night 2 obviously on paper looked better, but there was just something about the energy up on the rail for night 1, the rain coming down. We really felt it. But let's listen to friend and future employee of the podcast, Natalie, who will be handing out stickers, Great Beyond stickers to be exact, on leg 2. So let's listen to her take.
Natalie, comparisons between night 1 and night 2, what'd you feel?
I mean, night 2, we got the entire show. We got 2 sets.
Yeah,
but
fair.
The set that we got night 1 was just out of this world. We were swimming in the front row. It was epic. It was just, the vibes were high. I mean, we were expecting not to have a show at all. So the fact that we got any kind of music and we got Spirit, so that was my number 1 pick for that night.
So, moving forward, we soldiered down to Chucktown, aka Charleston.
That's how I would describe it, yes.
Yeah.
The March of the Union Army.
The March of the Wooden Soldiers. So Bruce and I flew down together with the band's girlfriends because I guess we're their handlers now.
Well, thank God. If I get to see girls of any type, it's great. So, yeah.
So we made it to Charleston alive. As soon as we got there, the band's girlfriends left Bruce and I at the airport. They had enough of us on the flight. But the show was absolutely incredible. Riverfront Park in Charleston, a beautiful place.
And it was popping. And I mean, we got there early. We were talking to fans in line, just talking to fans around the grounds. And it's always these things with some shows that the energy is just right. The mood is just right when you're there. It was a beautiful day. It was sunny. You're right on the water. Everybody felt really comfortable. Everybody was ready to see a show. A lot of people in Charleston were there for their first time to see a Goose show. And we're seeing that a lot over leg 1. We'll see it over leg 2 of the summer, and we'll see it going forward through the year. But it's a lot of people's first shows at a lot of these locations. So that really adds to the atmosphere. And not only that, but the show itself, Charleston, was an absolute dance party. I left the show thinking, wow, this is an incredible show. I mean, how are they going to top it, this weekend?
You're absolutely right. It was a dance party. Like, there are some shows, you go to Peach Festival, you go to a show at SPAC, and you're on a hill dancing the whole time, and you leave with like this horrific. Well, I leave with this horrific shooting pain in my back.
But some call it the sciatica.
But like, Charleston, I feel like I earned the same pain dancing on flat ground.
On completely flat grass.
On flat ground. But I know, Joey got to see some people out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, before we get into that, I just want to note that yes, there were pods, but this was the first time I felt like I was at a semi-normal show. Like it wasn't crowded, but looking over the crowd, like you could definitely see a lot of heads, the lights coming down on it, people dancing. So it really felt great. And looking at pictures beforehand, looking at the lawn, I was in section 3. I thought I was going to be way in the back. But luckily, what I thought was section 1 was the entire crowd. So it really was small, intimate, tight. And really a lot of fun. But yeah, I got to
Bruce
catch
and
up.
I ignored your phone calls because we didn't know how far section 3 was. We didn't even walk to.
Well, it turned out the sections didn't even matter. We were in section 3. They're like, oh, you're the back 3 rows. And then did not moderate at all. So slowly people just started making their way up.
There were no sections by set 2.
No, there were barely pods. But yeah, I got to catch up with some really cool guys. I'll let the audio tell you the story, but Yeah, these guys are pretty much the inspiration of what I want to be at shows from here on out. So let's take a listen. Let's just talk about quick how we met during set 2. So we're partying during, I guess it was So Ready. It was early in set 2.
So Ready was a great opener.
And then the nicest guy in the world comes over and just goes, I'm going to get beers. You want some beers? And I said no. Kieran said yes. Natalie said yes. So then I changed my answer to yes.
That was the wise choice, my friend.
It was, dude. It was a great time. And then we shared some goodies. We had a good time. And then we noticed you guys were just running through the pods, making sure everyone was feeling good. So what gives you the inspiration to do that at a show?
Man, I've missed live music for so long. I mean, this COVID has changed the world, man. But to be together and to experience something that only exists tonight.
Exactly.
There's nothing that matches that. And so to be able to maximize that, embrace that, and to say, we're going to do that together, that's what this is about. I mean, what you walk away with is a story that you'll tell for years on end. And I think that's what tonight is. I mean, this is a story. These guys are doing it, and they're going to do it phenomenally in the years to come. And the fact that we've been here tonight is going to be a story we're going to share together, and we're going to share with our people in our own spheres of influence. But, like, this is going to be a memory. And I think, what we need now is that.
Absolutely.
We need hope. We need hope. We need understanding that the world is changing, and only way to do that in a passionate way is to do that together.
Absolutely.
That's what tonight's about.
So you're blowing my mind.
Have you been on a podcast before?
Well, you should be, man.
I have been waiting. I've been waiting for a live music.
You've been waiting to be interviewed after live music.
That's what was missing over the past year and a half. I mean, the live music, the experience that we have together, there's a shared, intimate experience that only happens, today. And only happens in a unique way, and I think that's what we've got to focus on, and that's what's going to bring us ultimately together in the future.
Dude, absolutely, man.
Goose
That's
is
great.
Leading the charge back.
Goose
is leading the charge back.
Goose is phenomenal, and they get that, and they understand, and they bring us together, and I think that's what's special about it.
All right, so Brian, you've been just boxed out of this, man. Let me ask you, how'd you get into Goose?
This man right here.
All right, right back to him. President, how'd you get into Goose?
Oh man, just listening to him, man. I mean, I've been a big Fish fan forever, and I think everyone recognizes that can't go on forever. So we need to understand what's next. And I think Goose is what's next.
Goose is next. Goose is next.
I point you to episode 1 for discussion on that.
And from there, Joey made the very informed decision of going home and getting rest.
It was Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
I had to go.
Oh,
home.
Your mother doesn't hate you? I know. So I guess that makes sense.
She's getting there.
Yes.
My Mother's Day present was not being around my mother for Mother's Day. So.
By season 3, you'll have a different outlook on life if you keep working with us. So Bruce and I, we hopped on a flight to Pelham.
I think it was 2 flights, Greg.
Depends. Yeah,
it was a blur.
Depends who you ask. But we made it to Tennessee. Joey has no idea what happened.
No.
The responsible one was home. So Bruce and I went out, got ourselves a room at the Red Roof Inn, and
Beautiful Red Roof Inn in Manchester, Tennessee,
with a palatial view of the Waffle House.
Only one cigarette burn on my comforter, which I was quite pleased about.
And we were like, damn, we're back on tour. We're doing it. And so we dove into Pelham. We dove into the caverns with they're in Tennessee. Finally, we're doing it.
Yeah, and it's cool because I was initially a little not disappointed, let's say, but you wanted
to,
as always, but you wanted to see him in the caverns. It's such a neat place, and the above ground concert venue at the caverns is equally sick, and you have to go to the bathroom in the caverns, so they were letting people before the show get to walk around the caverns venue downstairs underground.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome to see, but the hillside was beautiful on the above ground, and there was a little break between the trees. You could look out over these fields and hills in Tennessee, and it was really just a beautiful place. And again, kind of like Charleston, but that vibe was there to begin with, and people were really, really feeling comfortable and relaxed, and everybody was just feeling so happy, and you could sense it from the crowd, and I think a lot of that does have to do with some of the natural atmosphere there.
A couple quick highlights. Bruce, myself, and Goose's manager, Matt Kalinsky, stopped by the Manchester, Tennessee Dollar Tree to get a bunch of birthday balloons for lighting director Andrew Getty.
We sold them out of their birthday balloons.
Got all the birthday balloons. It was his 26th birthday. He got up on stage and ripped a whistle solo over
insane.
me and Julio.
It was hilarious.
Not a solo, an entire song.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Sorry.
basically accompanying the song.
Pardon my disrespect. Or not a solo. They launched into a Rosewood that was half acoustic, half electric. The place was on fire when they did that Caverns Below.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, great line. Perfectly placed.
Did I sound like Rick?
Yeah, a little. Yeah,
better.
So I'm getting there. So night 1 was incredible. Night 2, just like Joey experienced in Frederick, we had torrential downpours and another tornado warning, which turned into possibly the craziest subterranean party I've ever been involved with.
Oh, man. Party in the Caves was wild. And a good friend of ours, Peter Russo, was pretty much controlling an entire VIP section. I don't think the story is appropriate for the Great Beyond, but if you want to DM me, I'll fill you in on the details.
If you were at Russo's cavern party, please send us a DM of your fondest memories. But to wrap this whole thing up, Bruce and I narrowly made our flight with about 6 minutes. We got
a really nice 80-year-old man in a pickup truck that gave us a ride to the airport. So to cap off a stellar weekend all around.
Enough about us. That's leg 1. We can't wait to see you guys out there for leg 2. We've got so much coming up. We'll see you all at Westville, dressed to impress.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So thank you all for tuning into episode 4. We want to congratulate the winner of our contest, Andrew Williamson, who solved the puzzle in absolute record time.
Just for a heads up, that was 1:26:19 into the mist for anybody that wants to listen.
Kenny's Westside Pub in Peoria, Illinois. We also want to shout out Sam Joyce, who came in a close second. Andrew's getting a signed print. Sam Joyce's second place prize will probably be a series of high fives from you, from the host.
Congrats, Sam.
Congratulations.
Studio time costs money, sorry.
But keep listening for your chance to win fun prizes whenever we can afford them.
And we'll also be handing out some Great Beyond merch on leg 2 of tour, so be sure to be on the lookout to pick up your first edition Great Beyond slaps.
Because the Great Beyond slaps.
The Great Beyond was engineered by Robbie Chemical at Gary's Electric in Brooklyn, New York. On behalf of my co-hosts, I'd like to thank everyone who was featured today, as well as those who did not make the cut necessarily. We still love you all. In addition, wow,
you're all right.
The audio wasn't perfect while music is playing.
We all have room to improve.
We'd also like to thank our manager, Kathleen Rothschild, and most of all, you, the listeners, for tuning in. Be sure to catch a ride with us next time down the pathway to the Great Beyond.
The Great Beyond.